Welcome to another episode of Behind the Shield. I'm your host today, Jason Shropshire, and today I've got a couple of members of our development team with us. I've got Chris Eaves and Gavin Blankenship with us. And guys, how's it going? First time visitors?
This is my third time in North Carolina, so at this point the building's kind of familiar, but yeah.
But
Uh,
first time on Behind the
on
Shield.
the behind the shield, that's a little
Yeah.
more specific.
Okay.
I'm sorry for those listening. I take things a little too literal sometimes.
Definitely
Yeah.
my first time behind the shield, but I do live local, so I've been here quite a few times.
Yeah. We used to see you down at Glenn's.
Yeah, flipping burgers.
That's right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Chris, give us a little background on yourself and kind of how we ran into you and how we got started.
Well, I've been in IT a while, and then working with computers I've always enjoyed. So I kind of started doing hobby programming in my spare time. And then I happened across a Dice post looking for uh, new blood for infusion points, and I threw an application out there on a whim, and the interview process went really well, and eventually I got brought on, and through a series of events, started doing development because I did not originally get brought on to do development, but kind of fortuitous.
Kind of the way your mind works and
You know,
yeah.
someone says, "Hey, you know Python, right?" And I say, "Yes." And then we started doing uh, a lot of meetings where someone would say, "Hey, we need you to do this," and I said, "I don't know how to do that," in my head, and then we went ahead and learned how to do that thing. So here we are.
Awesome. Gavin?
Yeah, so for me, I was in my last year of college, and I went to Walmart and I ran into my high school guidance counselor, and I told her what I was going to school for, and she said, "Hey, have you heard of Infusion Points? I think we have some internship things there through the high school, and that might be a good place to apply." So I looked up the website and applied, and it was at that period where just a couple months of school left and everybody's applying everywhere. Nobody's hearing back from anybody.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I applied and I heard back like the next day. And I was like, "Oh, this is great." So
Yeah.
that's how I heard about it.
So at this time, I am the research and development team lead. So I'm the one in the background wrangling the developers and occasionally jumping in to handle stuff myself, senior developer stuff.
Gotcha. But really the big project that R&D works on is Command Center, right?
Right, Command Center. So the flagship software that Infusion Points is now providing, and then providing as a platform for all of our cool modular features that we can be put in and have other teams add on to.
Awesome. And Gavin?
Yeah, so I'm one of the developers on the R&D team, and my main focus is the infrastructure for Command Center and all of our other applications that we work on.
Cool. And I would love to hear your guys kind of elevator pitch on Command Center. Like I've got my version, but like if you're describing it to somebody who's never heard of it, how would you describe it?
Command Center is the one pane of glass that you can view all of your compliance and ticketing needs through, among other modules, such as a document repository to store and manage your files, a user management system, and the system security plan is a big one that we've put together.
Yeah, the SSP module.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the 20x KSI
20x
capability has been a big.
That is a whole huge gigantic beast that
Almost a separate project. But
it is. It's a module that an entire team is devoted to.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just a purpose-built GRC tool that honestly, I mean, it's very opinionated design. So I mean, we could really add anything to it. And so we're not depending on anybody else making it, it's all custom in-house, so
yeah,
we can kind of do what we want.
Yeah, but the main point was we really wanted to solve for all the problems that we saw customers struggling with in their journey with these really difficult, complex compliance frameworks like FedRAMP and DoD, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we saw the struggles with pulling data in boundary and ticketing and things like that. But also just dealing with the way the changes are made to the system and documenting those things. Really, all the things that you can't capture that are as technical controls, all those operational things. We wanted ways of capturing that evidence, and to really pull all that together, right? Cool. So, tell me about kind of, Gavin, like your experience with developing, and what what do you love about it? Like what frameworks have you used? What languages?
Yeah, so I would say in school it was definitely more of a back end type developer program. Um, we had some front end stuff, but it was mainly like electives. So I knew Java coming in, and I knew like a little bit of C plus plus, but um, yeah. So I came in knowing like a little about a lot,
Yeah,
and not a lot about a little,
yeah,
and so um, when I first came in, I was helping Chris with the common automation, which was in Python. So it was learning something completely new. And then I kind of took over the Terraform for that, and that's when I really started liking the development work, because it turns out I like infrastructure the best out of front and back end stuff. But yeah, and then when we started Command Center, Gary's like, "So let's just do Angular, and start working on the front end." And so going through a Udemy course, and so Command Center's the first website I ever built. So it's got to learn a lot, got to make a lot of mistakes,
yeah.
but it's cool now. I can help on the back end, can help on the front end, do the infrastructure. So it's cool to be able to help out wherever.
So, Chris, what's your story? I know you're a Python whiz, but
Yeah, so I did a lot of Python, and then, like Gavin said, we started with the Kanban automation, which is continuous monitoring automation for those who don't know, which was all Python, all back end. And then Gary said, "Hey, we're going to build a website to front this." And by that time, Gavin was on the team, and the team was me and Gavin, and we both went, "Huh?" And like neither of us have done web dev. So for a little while, we were trying to take it together, and we decided to just split it. And I decided to take back end, and then he took front end, and we sort of ran with that. So I primarily work with Python in the back end and the integration of Python Lambda scripts with assorted AWS services.
okay, yeah, and we subscribe to more of the serverless architecture, and then we kind of lay that down with Terraform,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you probably had illusions of like what being a developer would be like, before you were working in the field. But
Right.
what is like different about it that you just didn't expect? Is there anything that like stands out?
Well, the thing that stands out, and I think it's more of an Infusion Points thing, is you're not really siloed into doing just one thing. So it's almost like a startup, like when we were starting Command Center, just cause you're just a jack of all trades.
Oh, it
Like,
really is. Yeah.
yeah, so,
It's whatever the need is,
right,
that's what you're solving that day. And if
yeah.
you don't like what you're doing today, then just wait.
Just wait
Yeah.
till tomorrow.
You'll
Yeah,
you'll
yeah,
be doing something else, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's constant priority switching, but we have a lot of stuff that we work on in a
No,
given
you can say
moment.
that.
Oh, okay. Well,
it is
if
that.
we
Yeah,
if we're allowed to. But no, we work on a lot of different stuff. So like you said, from day to day, you're working on a Python script the next day, and then after that, you're going back to figuring out some infrastructure connection with AWS. So it's always interesting. It's always, well, fun might be a strong word, but it keeps your attention. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and as far as like getting involved with Infusion Points, and kind of where we were when you came in, like what were the challenging things to ramp up on, or like what was the kind of the hardest part about finding a groove?
Well, a big part of it was that when I started at Infusion Points, there was not a development team. We didn't have software products that we supported. It was an engineering team that was providing a service based on AWS services. And, Gary's coming in and, we've got a guy that can do Python now. We can get this thing off of the whiteboard and turn this into a functional product.
Yep.
And we did that. And then he erased it and drew a new one. And then he erased it and drew a new one. So we keep taking things out of Gary's mind and making them available as actual software products. So the challenge has been taking a service company and being the people who are leading it into being a software development company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say just doing something that's net new. Just, you know, like even the AWS services we use, like I'm pretty sure looking through our repos, like nobody was using API gateway before we were using it. And
Yeah.
like and stuff like that you know, I could reach out to, an engineer that had been here about a certain service, about, how to terraform it or, anything like that and not being able to because we're just in new territory. That's the
Right.
hardest part.
Yeah, kind of having to bootstrap from nothing and
Right.
figure it all out
Yeah.
and make it all work together. And then, then
Yeah.
you get to a point where, this thing's big enough where we gotta retool a little bit, or, suddenly you realize the mistakes you made in the first iteration, right? So you gotta sort of reiterate again.
There's been some moments where we realized we had some tech debt, and
Yeah.
we have to go back and reorient a little bit, or ask for help, or say, hey, we actually need to expand this team, because we have a lot of stuff we got to work on.
Yeah. So you guys are here, and Chris, I know you're traveling in. You've been here before from Chicago, where you live. We're full remote culture here. Um, you're traveling in on for our inaugural hackathon. Um, you know, I'd love to know your thoughts about this week. We're kind of right in the middle of it, right? We're on the third day, and we got a day left. Um, what's excited you about it? Like, what are you excited about coming out of it? Or
I gotta say, so like I've been explaining repeatedly, um, my team put Command Center together. This started as a project with just me and Gavin, as just a bunch of Python scripts, and it's evolved into this actual deployed product that is approved and running in several uh, federally audited environments.
Mhm.
So taking it from that point, from nothing to federally approved, is really satisfying. And then during this hackathon,
It also has a low authorization.
yes, we
For
have an ATO with FedRAMP 20x.
Woohoo.
Uh, so a lot of the hackathon stuff, people are figuring out ways to do new or better ways of handling processes, and a lot of them are plugging into Command Center.
Absolutely.
So all these different teams are saying, "Hey, let's plug in. Hey, let's plug in." And I do have a little bit of professional pride knowing that the product that I helped put together is the focus of so many different people's work across the company.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And you guys should be proud of that product and what we've achieved with it. It's been a big enabler. It's always been what I call kind of the the gem on top of the building, or it's kind of the crown.
Right.
That um it's the cherry on top of the infrastructure that and the opinionated design
Yeah.
that we've kind of perfected over the years. And it brings it all together for our customers as well, and they see the value in it. So yeah, you guys absolutely should be proud of what you've accomplished with it.
I remember talking to Gary a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I think it was for the demo in DC, and
Yeah.
I was like, I cannot believe we are showing this off to people. Something that I help make. That's just it's amazing.
Yeah, you find out the audience of those demos, and you go, "That's the people that are seeing our product?
Yeah.
Cool."
Yeah.
So what would you think is the biggest thing that we've had to swing around, just based on customer feedback, that you didn't kind of anticipate, or that's been one of those sore points, or things that has taken a lot of time and effort?
It's a tendency.
With tendency or automation.
Yeah, well, okay, we can go with automation first. So there's quirks with every environment, and the automation is the same scripts everywhere,
Yeah.
but it doesn't always behave the same everywhere. So, and also some of our customers just have a different scale when it comes to vulnerabilities or um, just data coming in.
Yeah.
That's it just makes it difficult to manage between and customizations and we try to keep everything as an overlay to where we can reuse stuff and the more customers we get, the more customizations we get, the harder it is to keep that same just one code base for everything. But
Yeah,
that's tough.
a big part of how we design the system is keeping it agnostic from environment and customer, so that we can reuse the code across every environment. And another
Yeah, because
thing,
we're not just building one SaaS platform, right? We're
Yeah.
building software that is a SaaS in one environment, but is also laid down for individual customers in their
Right.
environment. So there's a
exactly,
command center like in our single tenant environments too.
yes.
It's definitely a different
And we also use it internally for our own vulnerability management and the environments that we manage. But on top of what Gavin was mentioning with automation challenges is how the customers use the automation, because we had designed it one way, and then some customers come in and start asking questions about how they would do it this way, and we say like, we can make it do it that way. And through these, sort of back and forth with customers, they say, hey, can it do this? We say, yeah, and we upgrade the system, and just with the customer feedback, we make the system better over time, incrementally, which I think is challenging in the moment, but improves the system overall, which is pretty satisfying.
yeah, absolutely. So what is one of those skills that you've had to sort of develop that's outside of the core like development skill set that's been critical? I'll go because you kind of lead the team. I can imagine what you're gonna say to this.
You led right into it. Prior to being the team lead of this team, I had never led people or managed people, and being able to strike the balance of me working on the code, and the code being mine, and taking a step back and enabling others to work on the code, and then providing them the tools, and even people on my team and outside of my team has been something where I've had to sort of shift my mindset and say, yes, okay, I would do it this way,
Hmm.
but I am not the one writing this particular script, and it works and it's perfectly valid. It's fine if it's not done exactly how I think it should be done, and that's something that I've had
Yeah.
to adjust.
Right. And Gavin, I'm imagining for you, like one of those things is going to be like being on podcasts. Or
Yeah, this is definitely not my forte, but that's okay.
you know what? It never is until you do get comfortable with it. Like,
Right, yeah.
I don't know that anyone is just naturally comfortable with it. Maybe 10% of the people out
Yeah.
there.
As far as like
Maybe
actual
Chris.
as far
Chris
as
is one of those 10%.
yeah, Chris has done theater and stuff like that, so he's trained for this.
Oh yeah, I
Any
did it.
stand-up routines?
Not stand up.
that you have to offer?
I have stand up stuff written on my phone. I have a doc in my Google Drive
Oh.
of stand up jokes that I've written. Never used it. But I don't mind being on a podcast because I did stage acting before, and when you're leading a group of people out on stage, wasn't actually leading; is acting, doesn't count. And you trip over the center stage and fall flat on your face in front of 2,000 people. Nothing else can possibly scare you.
Yeah.
True story.
I would love to have seen that.
I could probably find the tape.
So like back to like command center and learning stuff that is like outside of development, I would say is taking feedback, because we have a lot of feedback, and
You guys get a lot of feedback.
we get a lot of feedback, and
You
a
know
lot
why? Because we get a lot of feedback
Yeah.
from our customers.
and a lot of the feedback is contradicts like other feedback, so like you can't, you have to take stuff in and realize
It's deconflicting.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, yeah, I get it. Like there's sometimes priority shift, right?
Right.
Because of what's going on with government. Like this year, there's been big monumental foundational shifts.
Right.
So it's forced us to like reprioritize things and back burner some things, and then customer demands are coming in that are aren't really in line with the like the current or the bleeding edge, right, of
Right.
what's happening in federal, and then we're trying to stay aligned with both, right? Like we got to listen to the customer demand and sort of prioritize from that backlog, and then we've got what's going on with 20x and leaning into the future of FedRAMP at the same time.
Right.
I'm sure that anybody who has ever worked on code knows the challenge of taking what a project manager or an executive has said and distilling what that means into actual actionable code. That is a challenge that we face on a regular basis,
Yep.
but I think we're pretty good at it.
You guys have gotten very good at it, I think. Yeah. So what's next? What are you guys excited to work on now?
Well, come the new year, I think some of our current projects will be getting wrapped up, which will open up our time to work on some new stuff that's really been needed. How specific can we get?
Don't name customers, but yeah,
Uh,
features or anything
Features.
else. Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
I'm really excited about automated user onboarding and uh, got someone cheering in the background over here for that. Yeah, it's automatic user onboarding, because onboarding users into a government approved system is a process. You got a lot of approvals in there, and the more we can automate that, the better. And also a couple of the other modules we have needed for a long time, and getting the time to actually work on those is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Incident response tracking, for example. Like, we don't get incidents that often, but having a pane of glass where we can see that stuff, kind of, I like the idea. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I think like working on the 20x stuff is fun.
Yeah.
Trust Center having a brand new application is pretty cool. And well, one thing that I like to work on, but it really, well, I say it only benefits me, but it only benefits me to start out with until like some of the other infra guys can use it. But I'm working on a pipeline to make it to where I don't have to manage Terraform for Lambdas anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll have a script that
Automation.
so I'll have a script that takes the Lambdas and terraforms them and then pushes them to GitHub and creates a pull request. So, and then I don't have to manage any of it.
The
So,
automated deployment pipeline is our baby.
yeah,
So
it's great.
we've had a lot of tasks that have been put on our list. We need to do this, we need to make this, we need to develop this, we need to address this request. And then in the background, in spare moments, Gavin and I have been sitting back there putting together the just little bits and pieces of the deployment pipeline in secret. Until we finally got it to 90% done. We brought it to the executive team and said, hey, our deployment pipeline is almost ready. If we can just prioritize that for just a couple days, we'll have that done. And because anyone who has done software deployments knows the pain of logging into a bunch of different customer environments to deploy the same software over and over.
Yep.
And Gavin and I were the ones having to do that. More so Gavin. So
and we knew it would be an issue. It's like, it's one of those things that you backlog until it becomes the issue of the day, right? That okay, we can't put this off anymore.
Well,
yeah.
When
we had that moment.
we had one, we had one command center, we have 2 command centers, whatever.
Yeah.
You got 10 command centers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're doing, the in-boundary deployments are there's more steps with that to begin with. So yeah, it's not a fun time.
Yeah, so
But
Gavin
now-
and I, we put that system together, and that's something I'm real proud of.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm leading the team now, so I don't get to be in the code as much because I'm facilitating a lot. But that was code that my particular portion of the pipeline, I took a lot of time making sure that was working as expected, and that came out really awesome. More improvements for the future.
Yeah. So I know we've been working a lot with AI, right? Either helping customers that are including AI in their deployments, or working with it ourselves, or using it for our internal work, right? Tales of AI from the trench is what I'm looking for, right? So,
okay,
what have you got?
So, for those in the know, one of the AI systems you can use with AWS is called Bedrock. And we were working on integrating Bedrock with our alerting system. So
I think I remember this story.
Yeah. So the security team had put together a number of playbooks for an agent to integrate with to provide recommendations for different alert or vulnerability types. So there's we had a MITRE database and a CVE database and stuff like that.
Yeah, sort of our level 1 AI agent, right?
Right. So an alert would come in, and depending on the vulnerability and the alert, the AI agent would go and check those databases and provide remediation recommendations for that particular vulnerability. Yeah, data enrichment, exactly. And I was working on that particular code, and we were doing it in our sandbox environment, which we deliberately leave a little bit unpatched just for the sake of making sure we have findings. Yeah, don't worry about that. So to work with, so we can test our systems, because you can't test a system if everything's perfectly clean. So the SOC team turned on the flow of alerts, which had been backed up a little bit, and I'm testing the script. I'm making sure things are coming through, and after 20 of the alerts get the AI recommendation, I start getting errors in the script and go, this was working a minute ago. Let me go check the logs. Step 1 for troubleshooting, check the logs. And I'm getting errors about throttling from Bedrock. And I go, okay, I'll come back to this. I got other stuff I got to do. So I give it 20 minutes or so, and I go and hit the script again. And it cycles through like 20 of the alerts. And I had set the script to redrive any alerts that didn't have an AI recommendation. And at that point, there was over 1,000 alerts in the database. So it cycled through 20 or so, throttled again, and I left it set to redrive, and then I got off for the day, and I didn't turn the script off. So I was out with my daughter and my wife for a Girl Scout event, and they're going and visiting it's a veterinarian's office, and I'm sitting in the lobby because they're all smashed into a back room, and I get a call on Teams from someone in the company, and it's like, this is a butt dial. No one is actually calling me at 6 p.m. So I didn't answer, but then he messages me and says, "Hey, are you stress testing Bedrock?" And I went, I said this earlier in the call, in this call, I take things far too literally. I'm working on it. No, I'm not stress testing Bedrock. I was working with it earlier, and
It was a Python script.
it was a Python script that
Is that a stress test?
Set with a redrive. And what I didn't realize at the time was that each time this script ran, it didn't just stop when it hit the throttling error. It would continue down each alert and hit every single one and punch that into Bedrock. So it had 1,000 alerts in there, and it goes through 20, and then does another 980, and then it's all of them getting a throttling message. And then 20 minutes later, it does 960, and then it gets a throttling message.
Oof.
And so the next day, I get on, do my thing, and I get pulled into a call with the executives, Jason, and they're like, "Hey, what were you doing with Bedrock yesterday?" And I thought through the logic and went, "Oh, I invoked Bedrock 1,000,000 times. Oh crap."
The sudden realization that you've invoked Bedrock.
So it turns out I took down the Bedrock service, and AWS had to reach out to our company and find out what the heck we were doing. So for those,
it's like shut down their access to our endpoint.
Yeah. So be careful when you set a redrive on a script. Make sure you shut it off when you're done testing for the day. That's the lesson learned from that.
Lesson learned.
Yep.
And we braced for the Bedrock bill, but it never really came.
Well, because we only actually invoked it less than 1,000 times. So the bill came out to like what, $10-$20 or something.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't bad.
No.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be bad though.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be $10,000.
Gary was sweating bullets on that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time we crashed a Porsche. But,
yeah, that was.
We didn't want another one.
Yeah, that you get it pulled into a call with the executives, and you go, "Why am I here with everybody and AWS rep? What happened?" Well,
we're just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, like we've got all these Bedrock messages with your name all over it. Oh, yeah. So that's a good story.
Yeah, I definitely remember that one. All right, guys. So these are very serious questions, so I need quick answers though, right?
Okay.
Very quick answers. Coffee, tea, or something else entirely?
Water.
Coffee.
Coffee. I could tell. What's your go-to genre? Music.
Metal.
Nice.
We have a lot of conversations about that.
This team is on.
Yeah.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Morning person.
Oh boy. Well, you guys can like
There's a couple hours where we
can-
can work together.
I have a toddler. I'm up very early in the morning most days. So
All right. So how does it relate to this question? How many times do you hit the snooze button, or do you?
3.
I'm up before the snooze button. Yeah.
I didn't expect
How do you
that.
do that?
That wasn't an option.
That's
Yeah.
some kind of superpower. I don't know
Yeah.
how.
That wasn't on my
Yeah.
list at all.
My alarm is normally like 6 o'clock, and I'm normally up by 3 or 4.
Dark mode or light mode?
Dark.
Dark mode. That's the
Is
only
there
answer.
any other mode than dark mode?
Okay. Pro tip: if anyone who watches this uses Command Center from the developers, use dark mode.
Yeah, we actually prioritize development in dark mode.
If you
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can tell.
Light mode is secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Good
gets
luck.
short shrift.
Yeah, I can
really.
remember like talking about feedback. I think we had Command Center up for like a month. It wasn't even called Command Center at that point.
Portal.
Yeah, it was called Portal, and then somebody reached out and was like, "Hey, like the screen is too bright."
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that was like one of the first things we worked on was dark mode.
Yeah, and we actually got comments about that from when we were getting the 20x low ATO. They're like, "Yeah, you guys are the only ones who had dark mode." Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
we
What else is-
prioritize the right
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And if we didn't have the switch, it would just be dark mode.
It would be.
It would just be dark mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's very developer oriented, but tabs or spaces?
Tabs.
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 I'm not gonna sit there and hit it 4 times. It's crazy.
Mac, Windows, or Linux
Ooh, that's a hard one.
for desktop?
Windows.
Lately, I've been leaning more toward Linux. I've got a Manjaro machine at home.
Oh yeah, for your daily driver, like
I have right now I dual boot, and I'm working on
yeah,
migrating.
fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's all we have for now. We got another segment coming up with more of the dev team, and thanks so much, guys, for coming in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So we're welcoming Kay. Welcome, Kay.
Thank you. Been hiding in my cave,
Hiding in your
but now I'm
cave.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Is it Kay's cave?
the K cave.
Kay's
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
And it's Kay Langfit, right?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Behind the Shield podcast.
Thank you.
And welcome to InfusionPoints. You're one of the newer members, but how long have you been with us now?
I started interning in May, and then I came on full time in August,
Wow, it's
and
been that
it's
long.
December. Yep.
Gosh, time flies. Tell you,
Wow.
yeah.
I thought it was
Awesome.
last year. I thought it's been a whole year. That's awesome, Kay.
Yeah.
That's the kind of impact you've had on us, Kay.
Just so much fun wrapped up in a little bubble of time. What can I say?
Love it.
All right. So a 30-second version of who you are and what you work on.
A 30-second version. Can I get a timer?
I'm timing you. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm a developer on the research and development team, and I work with the command center team. So I help.
Which let's face it, is the R&D team.
Command center R&D interchangeable. Yes.
So what specifically are you doing for the command center team right now?
I am their both back end and front end person a little bit. We have Caleb who does all back end and Matthew who does all front end. And so I kind of bounce between and take the ideas that Chris or someone in management has that they don't have time for,
Mhm.
and I take them on and I integrate. I create both sides of it.
So what idea that management had are you currently working on?
Currently, I'm working. I wonder where that was going.
Gee.
Currently, I'm working on vulnerability and asset management, which is replacing our Kanban automation, and it is more focused on your AWS inventory instead of just creating a POAM.
Okay. Yeah, inventory is really critical because you got to get that right first, right? To make sure that you're
Mhm.
actually getting scans from your entire boundary and infrastructure, right?
Mm-hmm. So
Mike knows all about that.
oh my gosh, right? I could ask you all kinds of questions all day, like how are you solving for this? So, like, I mean, what has been one of your biggest challenges with? I'm just going to say optimizing the vulnerability automation that's there,
Mhm.
and kind of enhancing it to make it more of a management tool than a reporting tool, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I think that I have a fresh perspective coming into it with predicting what things are going to be problems. Not that that's been the issue, but maybe getting to my head a little bit about this could be a problem. How am I going to figure this out in advance? And then also coming into this, as I said, I'm still fairly new, so I have a higher level overview of things, but I haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty, or I hadn't before I started working on this. So really just diving into the documentation, into the code that we had in place before and understanding it. And then taking that and considering what is the best way to do this without having all of the background knowledge that you or Chris have.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I don't think either of us expect you to be working in a vacuum, right? Like, I mean, this is a complex thing with vulnerability and asset management that you're working to automate and solve for. I mean, we have customers that hire teams of people to do this.
Yeah.
And
Well, and we spent like years.
we spent years cultivating it, right?
Yeah, thinking about the optimal ways to do this,
Mhm.
you know, and the optimal ways to use AWS services to do it, right? In novel, very cloud native ways,
Mhm.
right?
I think
And
it
and,
is.
and then
Sorry.
you're seeing kind of the a very vertical slice of it, and
Yes.
trying to kind of operate within
Yes.
that
Yeah.
environment. So,
But yeah, for optimizing it, I think it is helpful to have one individual focusing on that because it's all living in my brain. You know, if
We need
I
to get it out of your brain and into code, okay?
it's getting in the code. It
Okay,
is in the code.
awesome.
But yeah, like because it's all in my brain, I know exactly where everything's flowing, and there's not different people with different ideas that maybe aren't communicating it now how they need to be or aren't understanding where things are coming from.
so I love asking the devs this question, because as leaders, you know, we've got our elevator pitches, right?
Yeah,
And what
exactly.
we do and how we do it. But so how would you explain Command Center to somebody who doesn't work in cloud or GRC? Like how would you describe it?
I think Allison used a great acronym, not acronym, like a tagline, which was the one-stop shop for your vulnerability management and compliance overview.
Right. It's sort of that one stop place for all things security and compliance, for these really complicated, stupidly complicated frameworks like FedRAMP and DoD.
That all have their own little nuance
Right.
of a tweak that, sure, it seems easy if you're like trying to do it manually and spending hours doing it, but when you're coding it,
Yeah. And then it's just if else statements all over
exactly,
the place.
exactly.
So we definitely identified you as a great fit for the engineering and dev team specifically, or R&D team. How did you get into development? Like what was your process of sort of like landing there?
I originally started at Appalachian State as a evolution, ecology, something.
No way.
Yeah, I was interested in that and sustainable development. And yeah, I started as sustainable development.
I didn't know that.
And
I didn't either.
and I wrote a lot of papers on how people should do things and what would be best for everyone. But no one was going to read it. And so I finished the semester and I was like, I want to be the one who's doing something instead
like
of
it.
just
You want to be a builder.
yes, I love building things.
Yeah.
I love
And
puzzles.
builder of useful things that people are gonna, leverage, and that's gonna change things,
hmm
right?
hmm
At least to whatever degree we can in our little slice of the universe.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's great. That's a cool story. Um, so you had this vision of like what being a developer was likely, right? Or as you kind of got into this, right? But like once you actually got into it, what sort of floored you about it, or what surprised you about like, well, I thought it was going to be like in the movies, but it's actually like not like that at all.
It's not just hacking to the mainframe. Let's see. I started my computer science degree because my friend, her sister did it, and she was like, "You would probably be good at this." And I said, "I have to pick a degree, so I'm going to give it a shot." And I am someone who's pretty good with language. I like to write and I like to read and study other languages. And it was a lot more similar to that than I thought it was going to be.
That's cool. Yeah. That's a great way to put it, really.
hmm
Because, I've seen in our experience, like the people on the infrastructure side are more systems thinking kind of people, right? But when you get into certain fields, like even in like folks who do red teams or do pen testing, things like that, the artful side comes out more, because you have to be able to think in different ways.
Right.
But it's interesting hearing you talk about kind of language and being good with that. Like my kids are learning Latin,
That's
um,
cool.
and my wife too, because she's teaching them, and so it's been interesting, hearing Duolingo constantly, and like
I can
You don't
imagine
like
your
the
I'm
little
house.
never going
dings.
to learn that ever. Like I still don't. I've been listening to it for. I still don't
And
know a lick of
they
it.
probably say the same thing about Python. Okay.
True,
So
that's very true. They have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking about work, so that makes me feel a little better. But still, they're going to know Latin, so, and that's pretty cool.
That is really
But
cool.
but yeah, that's interesting corollary there
Mhm.
with learning coding languages and the similarities.
Yeah, I mean, I really love that story about how you went from that to the developer role that you're doing now, and even what you got your degree and your CS degree from app. Um, that's a great story, and I mean, I'm just going to say, like, having you on the dev team has been like, you always know when Kay's on the call because I always got this big bright smile smiling at us, and it's just like, you know what? No matter how bad things are going, Kay's got her head around it. She's going to fix it for us.
I'm gonna
You're
try.
going to try.
I'm gonna try. There's gonna be another cook in the kitchen.
There you go. Love it.
She's
Love it.
burning the noodles.
Burning the noodles.
How do you do
Love it.
that? They're
Yeah,
blood.
right.
Don't worry about it.
um, what was really hard to sort of like as you got your start with the team, what was the hardest thing about ramping up or just getting a foothold or getting traction? Um,
The acronyms.
Oh, I bet.
Oh
oh
my
yeah.
god.
I think we warned you all about that.
Yeah,
when
no, you did.
yeah.
It was a good warning.
Well,
Like,
Repeat it.
and you came on in a year of completely new acronyms too, right? Because now we got FedRAMP 20x,
Yeah.
KSIs.
Yeah.
KSIs, and it's
Yeah.
a whole new stream of acronyms to
Yeah.
learn.
The first day I came in here and saw Conmon on the whiteboard, I was like, I think they misspelled common, but I'm not going to say anything because it's my first day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right. We had somebody when I used to say Kanban all the time, and project managers hear me say that, and they're like, "You mean Kanban?" And I'm like, "No." So it's just I hear where you're coming from. The
Yep.
acronyms really do blend together, and I think those of us that do this daily, we don't even hear it anymore.
Yeah.
It's another language, Jason. Speaking in our acronym soup,
Mhm.
as I
Yep.
affectionately call it.
Yeah. Being in the Cloud Ups daily stand-ups was the best kind of immersion for that.
Sink or swim.
Yep.
Sink or swim.
Yeah.
Because I mean, those cloud ops calls in the morning,
I put my floaties on.
sweet. You did well.
Thanks.
I'd say you're bobbing up and down just fine.
Bobbing up and down just fine.
So command center, like what's one of those features that you're like really proud of, or maybe one that's I can imagine probably the one you're working on, but
Yeah, no surprise. It is the Vulcan Asset Management one, just because when I started here as an intern and I didn't even have my solutions architect to be able to get into the AWS environment, my first big girl task was the Nessus summary generator script. That was my first experience getting my feet wet, and it was amazing to have that practical, just that application, um, being able to dive in. So following the NSG script and Conmon and security all the way into, Inspector and Nessus with vulnerability and asset management has been really valuable for me and something that I think I've come to understand really well.
Yeah, and the way that transpired, Jason, I don't even know if you know this. Like
Probably not.
she was
There's so many things I
onboarded.
don't know.
She was onboarded, and she's in a cloud ops call, and I can't remember if you stayed after or what. And she's like, I can't get into the environment. I'm just anxious to get in there and start coding. And I'm like, I got something for you over here. Watch this. So then I punt this over, and she's like, I
Oh
almost saw on
boy.
her face, what did I get myself into? But she did really well. I think you teamed up with Rachel on it.
Yes, it
And
was
you
Rachel's
guys worked
rotation.
together, and I know we had a few calls. Like, this is the output that we like. This is the output, and I mean, I can just say, one of the things I think makes you a good developer and a good asset to the team is that communication, that reaching out. Is this what you wanted to do? Instead of just trying to assume another team's workflows, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So I think you fit into that real well. And I mean, you haven't even been here a year yet, and you're doing those things. And most people fresh out of college are like, who can I talk to?
Yeah.
It's so hard not to be timid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is.
You kind of have to bust in like the Kool-Aid man.
Mhm.
Kool-Aid man,
So
right through the wall.
they might not know that. Right?
I know that
We're just
one.
dating ourselves
Okay.
again.
Okay. All right. Time to hood up for this one.
All right. Okay.
All right. Next
She's
question
going
is,
gangsta.
so you're here during the InfusionPoints inaugural hackathon,
Mhm.
right? I wanted to know, so we're in day 3, kind of at the end of day 3. We got one more day tomorrow. What's your take on it? Like, what do you like about it? What do you think?
Well, we are not sleeping in sleeping bags on a gym floor as expected.
So
that's kind of
let me
disappointing.
pause. So whenever I asked her, because Chris was out of town, he was out sick or something. So I'm like, well, I just have to ask the team, hey, who's interested in coming to this hackathon? So I reach out to Kay, and she's like, yes. Like, immediately, Kay was like, yes. And she goes, where
I'm
are we
in.
sleeping? I'm going to assume on sleeping bags in the main room where we're doing the hackathon. And I'm like,
Who said we're sleeping?
So,
no.
Sleeping in a
24/7
hackathon.
lock in.
Yeah, exactly. There's no rest. I mean, but no, I just I had to. I'm like, no, we'll probably have a hotel. But it was just it was kind of funny because she had her camera on, and I was like, she's like, yeah, we're gonna get in sleeping bags too, right?
In beds with pillows.
Like, no,
Man.
you'll have your own hotel.
I'm really into backpacking, so I've got these like really good sleeping bags. I was
Okay.
excited to break out.
So it's an opportunity to use it.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope it was 0 degree this week.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't have been fun outside this week, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. I
Go ahead,
forgot what I was
finish
talking
answering
about.
you forgot what you were talking about. I have a tendency to do that.
So, like, what problem were you working on in your group?
So we were working on the user onboarding challenge, which is just right now kind of rife with friction. Like, it's a lot of manual steps for the cloud operations guys to have to go through. I think one of our cloud ops guys said that to onboard one person takes 3 hours. And for a customer recently, one of them had to do 200 users. And it took, about a week of work. So our goal is to take onboarding 200 users from a week to 30 minutes, or one user from 3 hours to 3 minutes. That's our little tagline. So we were
Is that a
working.
spoiler? Was that? Oh, did you just?
Sorry, Allison.
Love it. Yes.
It's just
All right, we're all sworn to secret.
Yeah.
Okay.
hoods on.
What happens in the podcast room
Stays.
Goes to everyone on LinkedIn. So we were just working to automate that. Start with when we receive that form from the PM that is signed by the ISO, just they upload that form and it kicks off the entire process to create that AD account with the username extracted from the form and create their workspace and add the IP address to the Nessus list, and then at the very end send an email off to the PM and the CloudOps guys that it's finished.
Awesome. So are you guys gonna you're gonna be working on this afterwards, or I take it there's
I
a lot.
hope so, yeah, because
Yeah.
we've done the higher level planning for it, like planning all of the
You kind of know all the knobs that need to be made.
yes,
and
and planning where things could fall
bells and whistles.
through, and failures.
Cool.
Sending that off to the CC team, and then we're also doing internal user onboarding for the company, which will be a little different, but it'll start with hopefully onboarding a user into TriNet, and then just
Yeah.
kick that off.
That's cool. That's actually how Gary and I met. We were doing a identity management project for Lowe's. Back then, I'll tell you a little story, right?
Okay.
Back then, there was not even a central anything that had every Lowe's employee. Like the store employees were hired by the local HR person in the store, right? And there wasn't any central system that had like every Lowe's employee in it, except for HR.
So there isn't some filing cabinet somewhere that has.
Well, it was
every
filing
Lowe's
cabinets for a
employee.
while, but they actually did have an HR system at the time, right? So we leveraged that to populate a directory. So that was the same kind of thing, right? Like take TriNet as a source of truth, use that to populate an identity record for every employee, and then based on their role or title or group that they're in, manager, that would provide their base level of access, and then you could have access requests that were fulfilled beyond that. So that's how we met, and that was
The rest is
20 years
history.
ago. Yeah.
That's exactly it. You want to join our team?
We might have some
So,
insight, but
yeah,
that was a
they
while
would've
back. Things have
pick-
changed a lot, but
Pick your
So-
brain a little bit.
Yeah.
it's funny. Things have changed, but they really haven't. It's the same types of things.
Problems.
As we grow and expand, you start having those issues. But the scale that we were solving it at Lowe's was crazy, because they would have 50% turnover or more in a year, right? And they had a few 100,000 employees. So some days you would have 1,000 employees leave and 1,000 employees to be hired. And you would see them, like when we built all this automation, you could turn the logging on and you would just see them go.
Yeah. At least you
see
didn't
him
have any
fly
trouble
by.
stress testing.
Yeah. There was a lot to it. All right. I have some very critically important questions, but you have to
These
answer
are
them really.
extremely important.
Yeah.
Very.
I'm not giving my social to you.
Very,
Dang it.
very important. No PII. I promise. This is the no PII promise. Favorite TV show?
Oh, that's so hard.
That
What
was
was
hard for me too, because I
first one
don't
that popped in your
TV a
head?
lot.
First one that popped in your head.
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Okay. that's all right.
Basic, but incredible.
You don't have to justify.
It's okay. This is a judgment-free zone.
Judgment.
Okay.
Not when you're here.
Not when I'm here.
Coffee, tea, or something else.
Coffee, cold brew.
Go to workday genre.
Workday genre.
Like what gets you in your flow.
Oh, music genre.
Yeah,
I
music.
see. Pop. I have like a dopamine mix saved on my Spotify.
Oh, okay. So you got a
Dopamine.
playlist then.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent. Morning person or night owl?
Can I be a noon person?
She gets up at the crack of noon every
The
day.
crack of noon.
Most productive at noon.
So you're just getting started. So that's why this is going so
Yeah,
well.
that's exactly.
Okay. It's good to know. Dark mode, light mode?
Dark mode.
Dark mode.
Yes.
Does anybody use light mode?
Who uses light?
Not anyone that you're interviewing.
No, not today. Tabs or spaces?
Tabs has to be if you're working in Python.
I like it.
We're at spacebar.
Two spaces. Well, some
You
people
wear
are two
out space
spaces.
bar,
Matthew
yeah.
was two spaces.
Really?
Everyone else is spaces. Right?
Or
Wait,
tabs.
we have one tab. Yeah.
Which she's a tab.
Yeah. Well, she was a tab too. So 2 tabs.
Two tabs.
Well, no, Matthew works on the front end,
Yeah.
so
He did it in Python.
Everyone else is
Yeah.
1 space, and then we have 1 2 space.
I'm
This is
confused.
we need standards.
Yeah, I mean, can we have an SOP on this,
We need to
please?
establish standards. Um,
it's because Matthew doesn't read. He's never opened a physical book.
La 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 la.
Okay. I never learned to read. Mac, Windows, or Linux.
Windows.
Really?
MacBook makes me feel like I'm using one of those toddler computers.
Just one button, like everything's
Yeah.
real minimal.
Everything's colored. I
Okay,
don't
so-
like it.
I don't. You might be asking this, but add on Android or iPhone.
iPhone.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, Windows, iPhone,
Okay.
I'm
totally.
Not smart enough for Linux.
What's a hobby that people might not expect?
Ooh, I feel like I've already kind of exposed many of
Wow.
my hobbies. I like to write fiction.
Mm.
Have you published anything?
No.
Oh,
If I did, it'd be under
an
a
alias?
pseudonym.
Pseudonym.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I almost just
Bach-
said no.
Bachman
So
books.
she's like, no, but if I did,
No.
it would be under a pseudonym.
I haven't asked anyone else this, but I'm gonna ask you. What's the best vacation you've taken, or if you're not taking it yet, that you want to take?
I stayed in France for about a month when I was in high school with the host family, and that was incredible.
That's awesome.
What part of France?
Toulouse in the southwestern
As
part.
if I know any areas of like Paris.
It's like the fourth biggest city, so it's not crazy enough to be stressful, but it's near the southern sea,
I know the top
There.
part, the bottom part.
The
bottom
Mediterranean
part.
Sea or the Southern Sea?
the Mediterranean Sea.
Okay.
That's
You said you only knew Paris. I didn't know
Well,
what you
I
knew.
know the big, huge masses
Okay,
of
okay.
water.
Is that like Nice or
I think Nice is.
a little bit north? Nice is a little north.
I
Maybe?
think Nice is further north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toulouse is pretty far in the south, kind of near.
I'm
Did you
totally
did you
wrong.
go to Monaco at all?
I did not.
No.
No. I went to some castles and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's
Alright.
where I found out I had lactose intolerance.
Oh no,
Oh,
that sounds
no.
like a story.
That sounds like another podcast.
That sounds like a story for another podcast. Food intolerances. Yeah, we're not going to. Caitlin says we made a good decision. All right. So I think that wraps up this segment.
This is a special edition of Behind the Shield, Inside the Shield. I'm your host, Chris Eaves, lead of the InfusionPoints Research and Development Team. Today, I have with me Caleb Brinkley
Nice to meet you.
and Matthew Malang. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How about you? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Why don't you guys tell me a bit about what you do on your day-to-day? Matthew, you're first.
All right. Well, I work on the front end of Command Center, so I am trying to make it pretty, make it usable for other users instead of just myself. I'm very much a power user, so I build out all the fancy features and then
Making it more user-friendly. You can-
more user friendly, so more users can use it. More
Right.
users
We
can
want
use
to try
it.
to avoid people having to ask questions about how to use the system. What about you, Caleb? What are you up to?
So I work on the back end primarily, and that involves working on scripts, Lambda, API gateway, a lot of serverless architecture. But overall, it's a great experience working with Matthew. We kind of sync together on everything perfectly. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
If you watched our previous segment where I mentioned I do a lot of backend with Python, and I had to take a step back, he's the one who took over to do the stuff that I used to do primarily. So I think I might cede the seat back to Jason if he is interested in taking it. Thanks for talking with me, guys.
So you guys are both, here during our inaugural hackathon.
Yep.
We're at the end of day 3 and we're all kind of tired, but we're kicking. We got some
Yep.
pizza. We're rocking out, hanging out at the podcast studio past 6. What do you guys think of the hackathon?
I can take it.
Yeah.
So initially, before the hackathon started, I was actually a little bit worried about it. I'm so used to working remote. I never really interact with a lot of these people in person. Obviously we're on Teams calls all the time, but I was worried like, okay, I have my whole setup at home. I have no distractions. Now I'm coming into a space where there's going to be like 60 something people. I'm going to be on my tiny little laptop. How's that going to work? Am I even going to be able to get something done?
Yeah.
But, coming into the team, you're like, okay, well, actually, I can get something done. And actually function with people that you wouldn't normally work with, if that makes sense. So, like, we have people from Cloud Ops, we have people from sales on our team. And you know what? We're a happy little family. It's all working well.
Cool. That's great to hear because we were like, by the way, I gotta have my hoodie on
Mhm.
when we're doing the hackathon. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Robot.
No, it was a conscious decision to like mix the teams up. Like we don't want like to look at the org chart and try to replicate that in the groups. For the hackathon because we wanted different perspectives in there, right? This is still good. It's coming through, I think. I like it. Cool. So like the outcomes from the hackathon, like what are you looking forward to working on? Like are you guys coming up with ideas that like you're gonna have to kind of carry from this and you're gonna have to finish like after we get out of this, or
Yeah, absolutely. So my team right now is working on some automations for back office stuff. So stuff that our advisory team would specialize in,
yeah,
filling out forms, working on paperwork. And one of our ideas initially was how do we involve AI with this, right? Because AI is the craze now. There's a lot of good with it that you can do by eliminating the time that you would spend on doing routine tasks.
mm,
And this was a perfect candidate, we thought at least. But as we continued to work on it, we actually worked with Power Automate in Teams.
hmm
Since our company uses Teams, we thought it would be a great opportunity to explore some of that. And working with the workflows, we've discovered that there's a lot of potential there, not just for filling out documents and sending them to customers, but also all the integrations there natively are pretty fantastic. So
yeah,
I think we'll be able to expand that out across the company to multiple different sectors and save a lot of time. So I think it's been very beneficial. And being able to work with a team other than the dev team here has been really cool as well.
kind
So
of eye opening.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. And it feels almost like being back in college, which is a good thing. I was in the College of Business at App State. So
yeah,
for me, doing this feels very reminiscent of that.
yeah.
Um, and it's really cool to be able to work in cross-functional groups like this.
Cool. Yeah. Um, it's always eye opening to kind of work with, different parts of the organization
Mhm.
and figure out like what their day to day is like and the problems that they're trying to solve,
Right.
and you come up with novel solutions too because
Hmm.
you're exposed to different ideas
Absolutely. Yeah.
and maybe you guys as developers, or engineers, you hear about problems and that you can bring ways of solving,
Hmm.
too, that maybe some of the folks in the other parts of the org aren't really thinking about.
Yeah.
So it's a chance to really, cross pollinate to a degree. But then also just to break the ice with other parts of other team members that you just don't know as well.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It's been a really cool experience with that because, we see everybody's profile picture and we see them on camera, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to do that, but another to see them in person. So very rewarding experience so far.
Awesome. Awesome. And all right, so we're gonna kind of break it down. I got some really serious questions to ask you guys, right?
Hmm.
Really serious, but I need fast answers to these. Okay, so coffee, tea, or something else entirely.
Monster.
Sweet tea.
Excellent choices. Um, favorite TV show?
The Office.
Oh,
Ooh, Altered Carbon.
oh, very interesting. Yeah. I got my eye on you, Matthew. All right. What's your go-to workday genre of music that like helps you get in the flow?
100% grunge.
Probably
Speaking
classical.
of my heart, man, I'm a born in the '70s,
Yep.
but teenager in
Get
the
some Alice in
'90s. So
Chains on.
yeah, sorry, man.
I'll probably go piano or some type of electronic dance music. Something.
Yeah,
No words. No words.
I'm the
Just
same.
yeah.
Yeah, so I love grunge, but there's no way I
Right.
could like be jamming to Nirvana and trying to type an email or something, right? For me, it's classical. Like I love
Right.
Mhm.
putting on classical, and
It's very calming.
yeah, absolutely. Morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
Neither. I like to sleep.
All right, so this is closely related, but are you a snoozer or do you get up with the alarm?
So I set my alarm in the morning for 6:30,
Hmm.
and then I go back to bed. I wake up at 7, and then I go back to bed. I wake up at 7:30, and then I get on my computer.
Wow, that's almost masochistic.
For me, I've got a couple of alarms in sequence, so I don't have to hit snooze. It's
Nice.
just automated for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm at least a 3 snoozer,
Hmm.
and yeah, my partner is not happy about it, but it is what it is. Dark or light mode?
Dark mode.
Dark mode.
It's easy. That shouldn't even be a question. in my
Shouldn't be a
opinion.
debate. Yeah.
Tabs or spaces? This is more of a
Tabs.
2 spaces.
No.
You're wrong.
Tabs.
It's okay to have a wrong
You can
opinion.
you can do
Don't you guys
4
have
spaces.
standards?
We can meet in the middle. 4 spaces.
We need a standard
No,
at InfusionPoints.
We do.
2
Yeah.
spaces.
Yeah, tabs. We'll never agree on this.
We're not going to have a standard, I don't think. Mac, Windows, or Linux?
Ooh, Linux probably. There's more they can do with it.
Linux for a server, Windows for like gaming PC.
Okay. But what your daily driver?
Daily driver.
I would
For
have
me
to be
personally,
Windows.
right now it's Windows, but
Yeah.
I'd like for it to be Linux eventually.
What version of Linux?
Good one. I gotta plug Arch.
Solid. Hobby that people might not expect.
I like to make pens, like writing pens.
Oh, like fountain pens, like really
Yeah,
fine.
fountain pens, ballpoint pens, all that on the lathe.
They're actually really
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Mhm.
Do you get the inserts and then make the
Mhm.
the wood? Yeah. Okay.
For me, it's kind of boring. I play a lot of guitar, so
That's not
electric
boring.
guitar. Well, compared to making
Is it grunge
pens.
music?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Yep.
And I have to say that it won't always be me on the Behind the Shield podcast, but it will always be somebody from Infusion Points behind the shield.